Hi, beautiful people. I love you. Good evening to you all. So I talked to hubby earlier today and I said, honey, can you please put my office into the guest bedroom because I want to pull out my real estate literature and I want to study my real estate soon while I'm going to work. But I don't want to bother you while you're trying to sleep because I work day shift and you work graveyard. So he was kind enough to bring my office in here instead of having it in our bedroom where we sleep. So I do a lot of reading in here and studying, so this is my little area until my daughter comes home and she can have this area on her home visits. So let's see what we can read today. Is today the 19th? Today's the 19th. Does God listen to you? What do you think? I could tell you he listens to us. He knows everything about us too. I can also tell you that he answers prayers, especially when you don't think he hears you anymore and you've prayed about something that you were going through, and then all of a sudden, years later, like 7 years later, he remembers everything, and he remembers a prayer that you said long, long ago, and he answers that prayer, and you're thinking, why now? Like, really? What do I do? He did that for me and my husband. When we were first married, we were going through problems, and I would pray and cry out to him, and what am I to learn from this, that, and the other, whatever. But he didn't answer me then. He was bringing me through some stuff. He was trying to get David and I separated from each other so he can get a hold of us individually because we were a hot mess. So 7 years later, here we are again, round 2, and we got married June 17th of this year, 2021. So he does answer prayers. He may not answer every prayer that you pray the way you want him to answer them, but he's going to do what's best for you in your circumstances, in his perfect timing. But yes, he does hear us. So the topic for today is read John chapter 9, verse 24 through 31. Does God listen to you? We know that God doesn't listen to sinners, but he is ready to hear those who worship him and do his will, John 9:31. Every day an elderly Jewish man went to the Wailing Wall to pray. Someone noticed him and watched him every day for 20 years. One day the person asked him how it felt to go and pray there every day. The old man's answer was, "What does it feel like? I'm talking to a wall." Perhaps you also sometimes feel like you're talking to a wall when you pray to God. The ancient Jews believed that the way to reach God was to live a good life. God doesn't listen to sinners was the customary wisdom of the day. Jesus showed us that this is not so. He does listen to sinners. God does listen to sinners. He listens in particular to those who know they are sinners and kneel before him humbly and remorsefully. God by no means gives preference to the righteous and good people. In fact, God longs to hear your prayers, whether you are a devoted believer or a sinner. Yay! And where am I? A believer or a sinner, rich or poor, young or old, learned or It gives him joy to listen to your prayers, whether you pray with confidence or struggle to put it together. One sentence. God doesn't give preference to people who speak well. He rejoices in answering prayers, even if they are simple, stumbling utterance. Whatever your condition, your abilities and your problems may be, pray without ceasing. Hearer of prayer, teach me how to pray. Amen. I don't know if I read this one yet. Oh, gosh. Forgive me if I read this already this week. Oh, my goodness. No, I haven't read this one yet. I don't think I have. Anyways, to get back to the moral of the story, sinner or not, God does hear our prayers. He listens to us. He knows when we're crying out for help. He knows everything about us. I cannot stress this enough in these videos. God knows us, each and every one of us. He does hear us. But there are times when we feel like we're being unheard. We don't understand why we're going through or what we're going through. But sometimes God has to wake us up, and he has to allow things to happen to get our attention so he can perfect us into his holy plan. So he does hear us every time we cry out to him, or we talk to him, or we complain to him, or we're ungrateful. He does hear us. Yes. The answer is yes. God hears us, even sinners. Okay? So, whatever you're praying about, know that you're being heard. Know that your prayer is going to be answered. However, it might not be answered the way that you think it should be answered. I love you. I'm going to have a fabulous evening, and I am going to go to bed after a while. You all have a beautiful, fabulous evening, and know that God is hearing you. Amen. Good night.